Right, what's up guys? This is the One West Health and Fitness YouTube channel. My name's Otis, and this channel is going to be dedicated to providing videos to help you keep fit, stay in shape, using minimal equipment, whether you're at home, at the park or at the gym. So this is my first YouTube channel, but it's not going to be on health and fitness per se. It's actually going to be on the Mayweather-McGregor fight. So obviously it's a fight that's a big talking point in culture, in sports, just in general news. Everyone's got their opinion about it. I've got my opinion obviously, and I thought I want to put my opinion across in this video, so that's what I'm doing right now. So just before I get started, I just want to make a few points. First of all, I just wanted to say this video is not going to be edited, so every now and then I might have to pause, that kind of stuff. Just bear with me. It's not going to be edited out. And also, I've also got some notes that I need to refer to every now and then so I can make the points I wanted to make. So I may need to look down every now and then. Once again, just bear with me, and hopefully I can make all the points that I wanted to put across in this video. So first of all, I just want to say I think this fight is a mismatch in skills. Mayweather is obviously the superior boxer. He's one of the best ever. McGregor isn't a boxer. He's a good striker in the UFC cage, but he's not a boxer. For me, I can only see it going one way. That is a Floyd win, and I think it's going to be a Floyd stoppage. I can't make a case for McGregor apart from a puncher's chance, but at the same time, we've had so many fights with Floyd where he's fought other boxers who have turned out to be great or had very good pedigree, and they still couldn't catch him. So I'm not sure what chance McGregor's going to have. And to be honest, I looked at this fight, and when it was first announced, I just thought this fight, the only way that Floyd is going to lose is if he doesn't train or if the fight is fixed. I just can't see it for McGregor, but that's my opinion anyway. I'm going to go into why that is, and I'm going to start with their work ethic, go into work ethic a bit. Now, they both work very hard, definitely. Floyd has been working hard from a kid at boxing. So he started boxing in his very early years, and he's continued it up until now as he's 40. McGregor, if I understand, he had a good work ethic as well from younger, and that work ethic has been taken up to new levels in the last few years as he broke into the UFC and made his mark in the UFC. However, what you got to understand is that his work ethic has been for cage fighting or mixed martial arts. Now that's different to Floyd, whose work has been only on boxing. Conor's work has been over different disciplines, so you can't, as much as they both work hard, you can't say that Conor can be as prepared to fight Floyd regardless of how hard he works, because Floyd is one of the best and he puts in work up there with the best, like who outworks Floyd Mayweather. So that's my point with that. They both work hard, but Floyd's hours specifically on boxing I feel will be more valuable than what he loses in the lack of youth that he has compared to McGregor. Alright, in terms of size, obviously Floyd is the smaller man and McGregor is quite a bit bigger than him. However, I'm not sure how much that's going to count, because Floyd has fought quite a few boxers that are bigger than him in the past. I think the whole problem is, can Conor land on him? That's it. Because when Floyd's fought, for example, De La Hoya, Canelo, these guys, they're good. They're very good boxers, and they had size advantages over Floyd, but still Floyd was able to solve the puzzle. How is McGregor going to be able to use his boxing skills, or has he got enough boxing skills to enable him to make that size count? That's the question. I'm not sure he has. Well, I don't think he has, but I guess time will tell. Alright, another issue or point is Floyd's weak hands, and everyone's saying Floyd hasn't got any knockout power anymore like he did when he was younger, and that's going to count against him. But me personally, I don't think it will. I think with Floyd, he's a boxer that is very intelligent, and I think maybe having this disadvantage with his hands has made him more versatile as a boxer, because now he just breaks down his opposition systematically. So he'll use the punches to the body, get them trying to protect those body punches, then work to the head and keep switching it up, use the hooks. So he's very smart in what he does, and I think he's able to break down boxers in ways that many power punchers aren't able to do. So he's got many skills to his bow, even if he hasn't got knockout power. He's always making his opponents miss, and he knows how to counter them in the right way each time. I think that's going to be a feature of this fight as well. I think Conor's going to get work to the body like by the minute in this fight. Body work, jabs up to the head, and I think it's just going to be nearly like a showcase for Floyd in a way, if Floyd has trained well anyway. Another issue or point is the kicks. Now obviously Conor can't use kicks as he would do in a UFC cage, but kicks are a very important a very important part of Conor's makeup as a fighter, because he uses the kicks to help break down the range between him, or keep the range between him and other fighters, and also he uses the kicks to set up his attacks, his punches. Now he's not going to have that luxury in this fight, so how is he going to keep the range, number one, but also how is he going to set up his punches? Obviously we know he wants to let off his left hand, but what's he going to do before that so that he can actually be in a position to let off his left hand and in a position where it connects with Floyd and rattles him? I don't think he's got the skills to do that, because this is what so many other boxers have tried to solve when fighting Floyd, and they haven't been able to do that. So I don't think it's going to be, I think the kicks, not being able to kick, is going to show or highlight McGregor's lack of boxing skills. I know he had that sparring session with Paulie Malignaggi, and it shows him getting the better of him clearly, but Malignaggi and Floyd are two completely different animals, and I don't think Conor has got the skills to compensate for not being able to use the kicks to set up his punches. So yeah, I just think the problem is getting into range, and even if he does get into range, how is he going to get into range without Floyd hitting him? Floyd is the most accurate puncher in boxing history according to stats, so he's got to avoid that, and I don't think Conor will avoid that. Alright, so next one is Conor's striking, and obviously his striking in the UFC has been very impressive. He's got a lot of knockouts, knockdowns, just from punching. But you've got to consider his boxing skills are a lot better compared to those opponents he's fought in the UFC, compared to their boxing skills. And that's the thing, when you're fighting people with very much inferior boxing skills, you've got more opportunities. So if you look at a lot of Conor's fights, when he's knocked people down, they've either been retreating, they've either been rushing into him, or they've been off balance in some way. So obviously as you strike them, they're not ready to go down, but it makes it easier for that impact to have that effect of putting them down on the floor. Now when you look at Floyd, how often do you see him off balance? And if you see him rushing in, he's rushing in a calculated way, usually with his defence up. So even if he does get caught, he's not going to be in that very, very open position that a lot of UFC fighters are when they've been caught off guard by McGregor. So his striking is very good, but you're forgetting he's fighting a very, probably the most skilled boxer. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to detonate that left hand. So that's the problem. And also, even if he does catch him, you forget Floyd has been caught a couple of times, for example by Madonna, also caught badly by Mosley. These guys are pure boxers, their technique is excellent, so when they've caught Floyd, believe he felt it very, very hard punches, and much as he got wobbled, he has been able to come back into the fight and dominate. I'm not sure if Conor does catch him in the same, if Conor gives him a punch just in the same position as Mosley gave him that punch, I don't think it's going to be any harder than Mosley punch, to be honest. But we'll see. But I still think Floyd can take punches, as we've seen over his career, but he's very evasive to make sure that he doesn't have to take them a lot of the time. So that's Conor's problem, to work out how to get into position to give those strikes to unsettle Floyd. All right, the next point is the 8-ounce gloves. Now, 8-ounce gloves aren't new to Mayweather, because he's fought at lower weights where he's used the 8-ounce gloves. More to the point, I think it is an advantage to Mayweather, because not only has he used them, but he is also, like I said, the most accurate boxer in history. So if anyone's going to be connecting, or likely to be connecting, it's likely to be it's likely to be Mayweather. I'm not saying he's going to be connecting with pure power punches, but those little punches, they'll wear a fighter down, as you've seen in his fights a lot of the time. Obviously, if Conor does connect with him, it is likely to hurt Floyd. But once again, it is about Conor being able to bridge that gap, close that distance without being hit, and then being able to let off his shots on Floyd. I don't think he's going to be able to do that. I think it's going to be a similar scenario to the Hatton versus Mayweather fight. If you remember, Hatton was trying to chase down Mayweather quite a lot, because Hatton had that power punch that he'd used to knock out a lot of people, whether to the body or to the head. But he wasn't able to do that to Mayweather, and as he came in, he was always getting his head rocked back. He's getting the body work, and then he's protecting the body, and as he's protecting the body, Mayweather goes back to the head. So yeah, I think it's going to be a similar fight. Yes, people will argue that Hatton was a lot smaller than McGregor is, and that is a very fair point. But at the same time, Hatton arguably must have better boxing skills than McGregor, and he couldn't find a way in. So it just comes down to that for me, finding a way in. Also, one last point in that, I think if you look at the punches thrown at UFC, the technique that the UFC punchers, UFC fighters have compared to a pure boxer, I think a lot of fights, they can get kind of scrappy, and then people are throwing and swinging, so they're not throwing and completely throwing with all of their body behind the punches. I think if Floyd connects with one of his power punches, I think McGregor's going to find out that Floyd, he might not be a destructive puncher, but I think he's going to find out Floyd does hit a lot harder than he'd expected, and probably as hard or maybe harder than a lot of the fighters he fought in the UFC. So that could be interesting to see Conor's reaction if that is the case. Now, next big one is the mental edge, and I don't think there's really much mental advantage for Conor. I think a lot of people, I thought it was ridiculous how people were scoring the press conferences. I think it's just ridiculous. Like, those press conferences make no sense. Well, they have no bearing on the fight, especially when you're talking about someone who's so mentally strong in the fight game as Floyd Mayweather, and even McGregor as well. So it's nice to have the crowd on your side, but how much it's actually going to affect the fighter come fight night? Very little, if at all. I don't think it's going to have any effect on Mayweather at all. I think people need to always also remember is that Mayweather chose to go from Pretty Boy Floyd, who was quite popular, to Money Mayweather. So he embraced that role where he knew that in becoming a black bad guy, playing that bad guy, and getting the media and just the public to hate him, He was going to build that intrigue. He was going to sell his fights. He was going to get people wanting to watch his fights. And obviously, once they're watching his fights, he's making money on the pay-per-view, which is obviously no one's made as much money from pay-per-view as Floyd. So he has embraced this role. People saying about they think he was rattled in the press conferences or by Conor's support. No way, because you look at the press conferences when he was fighting Hatton, or the very partisan crowd he faced when he was fighting De La Hoya on Cinco de Mayo. It was so many Mexicans cheering for De La Hoya in the build-up and on the fight, but it made no difference. I don't think this is going to make any difference at all come fight night either. Okay, on the other hand, I'm not sure. McGregor is mentally tough, but I'm not sure how tough he is with regard to the media duties as well. Because if you remember, he had the fight with Nate Diaz, and then Diaz won, and then McGregor pulled out of the next fight with Diaz, the next scheduled fight. And he said he didn't want to do it because there were too many media obligations and that kind of stuff, and he said it messed up his preparation for the last fight. But that was a fight against Diaz in which Diaz had less than 2 weeks to prepare for. So I'm saying he had the chance to be the star man, and he was a star man, and he is a star man of the UFC. But with the star man comes certain responsibilities. I think Mayweather knows what those responsibilities are, and he just deals with them. He knows, okay, I want to be the top earner, the top draw. I want people to come and watch my fights and pay to watch my fights. So I need to carry on with certain antics, and people will hate me, but they're gonna come, they're gonna pay, I get paid, I'm happy, and he does that. I don't think McGregor, he might be used to it now, but he wasn't used to that responsibility. So I think there's a difference in that sense as well. McGregor wasn't prepared for that. Floyd has been doing this for years, so he knows what comes with the territory, and he's happy to do that. Okay, also the money issue, and I think this is where Floyd has the advantage. Floyd is much richer than Mayweather. Sorry, Floyd is much richer than McGregor, and he has used that, he has highlighted that in this press conference, or these press conferences, and that wouldn't usually be a big issue, but the thing is, McGregor always uses that against his other opponents. So he did that a lot against Diaz, he did it against Alvarez, and he'll just take the piss out of his opponents, saying that he's giving them the payday, blah, 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 but it's the boot's on the other foot now, really. And Floyd's calling him a $3 million fighter when Floyd made, what, probably 300 million in his fight against Pacquiao. So all of that kind of stuff, Floyd looking at his watch, saying his watch is shit, that kind of thing, I think is going to get to McGregor, because that is one string that he has in his bow that he usually uses against others that he can't use this time around. Whether it will affect him on fight now, I don't necessarily think it will, but it could get into his head and make him not like Floyd more, and possibly, I don't know, possibly get a bit more irrational in some of his movements to hurt him. I don't know, but mentally, Floyd is on top, I think. You've got to remember, Floyd has fought a lot of people where he's had fouls against him, for example, against Zab Judah, punch below the belt and that kind of stuff. He doesn't come off his game. His emotional intelligence is ridiculously high. He doesn't start seeking revenge. He always sticks to his game, always sticks to the script, and just works his plan. So regardless of what McGregor says or does, I can't see him coming out of that on this his 50th fight at all. Alright, so the clinch. Now this is something I say advantage McGregor, definitely. Now when we're talking about the size of McGregor, this is one thing where he can make the size count. McGregor is bigger than Mayweather, so if they get into the clinch, McGregor should be able to use his weight to weigh down Floyd, and if they're in enough clinches where McGregor's on top, he can use that to weigh down Floyd and tire Floyd out. Obviously, clinching is a core part of MMA fighting, so McGregor's going to be very well versed in it. Obviously, he can't do certain things that he would do in the octagon, as he's going to do in the ring tomorrow, but at the same time, he's going to be very, very good at the clinches, I'd say. But once again, it's how do you get into the clinches? Mayweather likes to sometimes pot shot and clinch to protect himself. In those positions, obviously, if McGregor can turn it around and make the clinch favour him and put his weight on Floyd, that's going to work for him. But if he starts getting tired and he just wants to hold on to Floyd and clinch onto him, once again, he's got the problem of getting close to Floyd without Floyd picking him off and being able to clinch. So the clinch, for me, McGregor has a chance to use that to his advantage, but once again, I think it's getting into the clinch, or how he gets into clinch, that is going to be a big factor. Alright, so this is my summary done, really. So, what am I saying about the fight? I think it's going to be like a Mayweather show, really. I think it's going to be similar to the Mayweather versus Hatton fight, where Floyd is just picking him off from round one, body shots, head shots, back to the body, back to the head. Conor comes in using the check hooks to just move him out the way, use the momentum against him, come back again, body shots, head shots, and I think he's just going to tire out Conor. I think Conor is used to getting a lot more heavier punishment in terms of he's got to deal with kicks, the grappling, holding against a cage, ground and pound, that kind of stuff. But you would think, okay, he's used to much heavier work, so boxing is going to be easier. But I think if someone is constantly jabbing you to the body, then to your head, and just stinging you, it's just like a bee, just constantly on you every minute, it's going to wear you down. And I think Floyd's going to wear him down. So I think it's going to be a stoppage by around 6 for Mayweather. And that's on the premise that Mayweather has trained hard for it. Then yeah, it's going to be a Mayweather stoppage, I think. So yeah, that's my opinion, guys. Obviously, everyone else has their opinion, so feel free to like, comment below. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me. That's fine. Leave your comments below if you want, and we can discuss. But end of the video. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the